How Does One Address a Mystery? By Gordon M. McKeeman. How does one address a mystery? Cautiously. Let us go cautiously, then to the end of our certainty, to the boundary of all we know, to the rim of uncertainty, to the parameter of the unknown which surrounds us. Reverently. Let us go with a sense of awe, a feeling of approaching the powerful holy of whose lightning slashes the sky, whose persistence splits concrete with green sprouts, whose miracles are present in every place and moment. Hopefully, out of our need for wholeness in our own lives, the reconciliation of mind and heart, the conjunction of reason and passion, the intersection of the timeless with time. Quietly, for no words will explain the inarticulate or summon the presence that is always present, even in our absence. But what shall I say? Anything, any anger, any hope, any fear, any joy, any request, any word that comes from the depth of being addressed to being itself, or perhaps nothing. No complaint, no request, no entreaty, no thanksgiving, no praise, no blame, no pretense of knowing or of not knowing. Simply be in the intimate presence of mystery, unashamed, unadorned, unafraid, and at the end say, Amen.
How does one address a mystery? Cautiously, reverently, hopefully, quietly. Simply be in the intimate presence of mystery, unashamed, unadored, unafraid, and at the end say amen. The other night, Pamela was in one of our small groups, which was focusing on the theme of the month, which was generosity. We always do a check-in at the beginning of our small groups, and Pamela just took this time in her check-in to describe a sunrise that she witnessed on the Crow River outside her window. She confessed that she's more of a sunset gal due to the time of day that the sunset usually occurs, so this was an exception to her daily routine. And as she shared her observations, she painted this picture of beauty and light and steam coming off the river and frost on the trees. It wasn't just the image that caught my attention, but it was the way that her voice shifted into one of awe and wonder as she shared. It felt to me as if Pamela drew us into the mystery of that moment by recreating it with her description. And in the end, we say amen. Unitarian Universalists have cited mystery as a source of our inspiration of our faith for a long time. And as we move into new language, which will hopefully be adopted this coming June, we move from the language of sources, which is, we have like a list of sources at this point, of our faith, to what we are calling inspirations. And this is what Article 2, which holds our values and our inspirations, says about mystery. This is the current language. Direct experiences of transcending mystery and wonder are primary sources of Unitarian Universalist inspiration. These experiences open our hearts, renew our spirits, and transform our lives. It's interesting when you think that like primary sources in other faiths include written texts like the Bible and the Quran, the Bhagavad Gita, or the Tuna. Yet for us, a primary source is found in the current world we live in accessed through experiences found in things like relationships and silence in nature, in the arts, in science, and in prayer. Later in this section of inspiration comes the recognition of the gratitude for these experiences that move us. Richard Rohr, some of you may know, he's a Franciscan friar and an ecumenical teacher who finds deep wisdom in Christian mysticism and traditions of action and contemplation. And he refers to mystery as the holy. He says people who have really met the holy are always humble. It's the people who don't know who usually pretend that they do. People who've had any genuine spiritual experience always know that they don't know. They are utterly humbled before mystery. They are in awe before the abyss of it all, in wonder at eternity and depth and a love which is incomprehensible to the mind. I love the conversation about mystery in the book I Wonder, and I appreciate hearing things that you guys feel are mysterious. I know the list wasn't that long. I know there's more mysteries in your lives. Mystery invites us into imagination, into the unknown, into deep observation and connection and curiosity. I have this way, I walk every morning for like an hour, and now I comb my little free mailboxes, free book libraries, those little libraries for magazines, because now I'm really into these vision boards. So I picked up one last week that was a National Geographic titled The 100 Greatest Mysteries Revealed. It took everything I had to not text Sawyer and go, Sawyer, guess what I just picked up? It opens with this introduction. It says, dig deep into history, peer closely into science, and you realize how little we really know of the world. We meet mysteries at every turn. In some cases, diligent sleuthing or technological innovations have answered old questions, or at least provided a plausible range of explanations. Other mysteries, including some of the biggest, still defy understanding. Would we have it any other way? Certainly, most of us would like a solution to cancer or old age, but very few of us want to live in that sunlit world in which everything is explained. There is a magic in the unknown and a certain freedom in letting our imaginations wander through the darker corners of life and the earth. Physical and social sciences, philosophy, and religion, they've sought answers to mysteries forever. Many, over time, have claimed truths. Some of these truths have stood the test of time. Some can never actually be tested because they're just human proclamations spoken with certainty and as real answers by people of faith who think they have it all figured out. And other truths have been disproven with new truths being uncovered as human knowledge increases. But still, there's just so much we don't know, especially when we take time to allow ourselves to go to the edge of knowing. Like the author in the poem that Sawyer read describes, look still further. Look until the pebbles mix with the sand and the weeds and everything become just one color. No real shapes or forms. Not things anymore, just color. Look until all the colors blend and become just one color, a nameless color. And when you found this, and in doing so, lost all that you thought you knew before, just look a little deeper. We all come to the edge of our knowing and understanding when the poet asks us to ponder the perhaps. Just look a little bit deeper. All will become clear like a limitless mirror. And there you will find a soul. Perhaps it's the soul of the lake. Or perhaps you will find that it is your soul. Or perhaps they are one and the same. Perhaps we are all just a lake of mirrors, hiding deep within. One thing I love about Unitarian Universalism, the good news, is that we as UUs, we don't have to choose between our respect for knowledge and science and the mystery. We can straddle between the known and the mystery. My colleague, Kathleen Rollins, explains, to see ourselves as rational people does not negate that we are mystics. To understand ourselves as mystics, that is, as people who believe in spiritual apprehension of truths beyond the intellect, doesn't eliminate the need to comprehend the facts of science. We are a tradition that values multiple ways of understanding and perceiving. We understand that we cannot know everything through our intellect alone. Mary Oliver, our beloved Mary Oliver, reminds us, truly we live with mysteries too marvelous to be understood. How grass can be nourishing in the mouth of lambs, how rivers and stones are forever in allegiance with gravity, why we ourselves see ourselves dream of rising, how two hands touch and the bonds will never be broken, how people come from delight or scars of damage to the comfort of a poem. Chet Ramo, a writer and a professor of physics who wrote many books, including When God Is Gone, Everything is Holy, The Making of a Religious Naturalist, which I have not read, but I think with that title I might have to. He speaks of the inevitable rabbit holes when it comes to exploring mystery and the limits of our knowledge. He says, a leaf of grass will provide ingress to infinity. He says that he writes of our lives in connection to, he writes about our lives in connection to ministry in a book called Honey from Stone. He wrote a lot of books. I heard about him on Being, once again, one of my favorite shows on podcast. These are his words, and I just love it. He says, I lie on my back and the light of 10,000 stars enters my eyes. 10,000 subtle but distinct wavelets of energy enter my eyes at slightly different angles from out of the depths of space. And by some miracle, my eyes and brain sort it all out, put each star in its proper place, recognize the familiar patterns of constellations, and open my soul to a universe whose length and breadth exceed my wildest imagining. Starlight falls upon me like a gentle rain. It blows across me like a furious wind. I am shaken and soaked. He continues, I have a friend who speaks of knowledge as an island in the sea of mystery. Let this then be the ground of my faith. All that we know, now and forever, all scientific knowledge that we have in this world or ever will have, is an island in the sea, and the mystery surrounds us.